You are sabotaging my company. And it's 7 years imprisonment, 7 million naira, or how many years imprisonment? That
3.
3 years. So why must you go? Because you're a pregnant woman. In prison yard, there is a space where you can keep child. There's nothing more that there is where they not mother there. So if you think you can come and bully me to drop my case, I'm not dropping it. I rather die than to allow somebody to tarnish my image. I work 40 years to grow.
It's not the type of life I want. I just said my truth.
The Amnesty International again demands end to continued harassment of Chioma Okoli by Nigerian government. Today is the 9th day of April 2024. The Amnesty International had also in March demanded an immediate end to harassment and intimidation of Okoli by the Nigerian Police Force and Erisco Foods Limited. Global human rights body, the Amnesty International, has again demanded the immediate end to the continued harassment of Chioma Okoli, a female customer of Erisco Foods Limited facing trial since 2023 over her review of the company's tomato product on Facebook. Amnesty noted that since September 2023, Okoli has been subjected to harrowing intimidation by the Nigerian authorities through the Nigerian police acting on the instruction of Erisco Foods, stressing that the intimidation and harassment must end immediately. Making the demand in a post on X platform, the human rights body said Amnesty International again calls on the Nigerian authorities to end the ongoing harassment of Chioma Okoli. Since September last year, she had been through harrowing intimidation. It must end now. The Nigerian authorities must end this harassment of Chioma Okoli and stop using Cybercrime Act to violate her human rights. Earlier, I reported that Chioma was arrested and intimidated by the operatives of the Nigerian Police Force on the order of the company over her Facebook post on one of the food products manufactured by Erisco. Amnesty International had also in March demanded an immediate end to harassment and intimidation of Okoli by the Nigerian Police Force and Erisco Foods Limited. Apart from the Amnesty International urging the Nigerian government and the Nigerian Police Force, as well as the Erisco Food, to drop this harassment against Chioma Okoli, so many
Nigeria Cybercrime Prohibition Act brooks no quarter. Before we get to the legal details, let's look at how we got here, what happened. The alleged crime took place last September, on September 17th. That's when our reviewer put up her Facebook post. Her name is Chioma Okoli. She is 39 years old, a mother of 3, and presently expecting her 4th child. She is an entrepreneur, a small-scale importer of children's clothes. She lives in Nigeria's financial hub, Lagos. On September 16th, a day before she put up the post, she went and bought the tomato mix. Her usual brands were out of stock, so she decided to try a different one. Before using the puree, she decided to taste it, and clearly she was not a fan. So she took to Facebook to air her grievances. She claimed the puree was too sweet, that there was too much sugar in it. And she asked her Facebook followers for their opinion. Now this set off a furious online debate, apparently with the puree maker's relative, or at least an ardent fan, someone calling themselves Blessing. Now Blessing began the accursed chain of retribution. They told our reviewer not to bring her problems on social media and she should call customer service instead, or just choose a different tomato mix brand. Sounds like every other social media stranger looking to pick a fight. Think. Normal heated debate on social media, right? Nothing insidious. Well, 7 days later, our reviewer was arrested. Apparently, the Nigerian police think she was part of a criminal conspiracy. I'm serious. This is what she has been charged with: plotting to instigate people against the tomato mix maker. Not just that, she was charged with intentionally making false claims online, an offense under Nigeria's Cybercrime Prohibition Act. She faces 7 years in prison in this conspiracy case and 3 years and a fine on the false information charge. But this is not even the worst part. Her arrest itself was horrifying. She says she was picked up from a church by officers in plain clothes. She was put in a holding cell without a place to sit and a leaky roof. She spent the night awake. The next day, she was flown out of the city, taken from Lagos to Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Have you ever heard of something like this? Someone being transferred to another city over a Facebook post about tomato puree. Nigeria's police force is quite proud of their approach, though. They say there is no sentiment in law. But seriously, does the Nigerian police really have no other crimes to solve? Have they eradicated every other injustice in the country? That they had the time to transport a source reviewer? After being taken to Abuja, the reviewer was released the next day. She posted bail and promised to make a public apology to the puree company. She says that promise was made under duress, so now she will not apologize. The police tried to arrest her again in January. Meanwhile, Nigerian courts have started hearing the case, and there's no guarantee that the courts will throw it out. This has led to public anger in Nigeria. Protests have been on for months. But the authorities are not budged, though. There are limits to the freedom of speech and expression, and in Nigeria, a bad tomato puree review breaches that limit. Now, we believe that cybercrimes and hate speech should be prosecuted anywhere in the world. But this does not sound like one of those incidents. It's a farce, a vegetable vendetta, and a company being too sensitive and vindictive. No one should be fined or jailed for a bad review. Hopefully, Nigeria's courts recognize this for what it is, a case of sour grapes.